In this video we're going to be looking at the hard drive, and we're going to be looking to see exactly how the hard drive connects to the motherboard. We're also going to look at the jumpers at the back of the hard drive to show just how they should be set in order for the drive to work properly within the system. Okay, well, one thing we need to understand is exactly what is the hard drive and what does it actually do for us. Well, the hard drive is usually fit into the case. You can see that the front of the case, and if we just spin this round, you can see that the hard drive lives in these bays. It's not visible from the front of the computer case at all, but it lives within the case. And the hard drive is the main storage device for the computer. In that, all the Windows operating system, the files that you save generally in My Documents, etc., and all the applications that you may have on the computer are stored usually on the hard drive. Okay, if we take the hard drive out. Okay, once we've undone the screws to the hard drive, we can see how the hard drive would actually just slide back into the case, and then we can have a closer look at the hard drive. Okay, once the hard drive has been taken out, we can look at the back of the hard drive, and we can see here that we've got the 40-pin connection here for the IDE cable that fits into the motherboard. And if we move along, we can actually see a little red jumper here, which we can discuss in further a little bit more. We've also got a power supply connector here, and this is a 4-pin connector which connects directly from the power supply unit on the case and provides power to the hard drive. Okay, as we mentioned, we have the little jumper here, this red jumper, which is positioned in the hard drive to make this actual device a master device. Now, the reason why we have the jumper settings, we have a position for master, and we also have a position for slave. And it's because the actual device is connected through the motherboard, and there's a possibility of two devices being connected to the same channel in the IDE controller. So it's important that the motherboard can identify which device is which, and by setting this as a master or a slave, the actual motherboard can determine which device needs to be managed at any particular time. Now, the hard drive, as I mentioned before, which usually has the operating system on, would be the device that you would set as a master into the IDE 1 slot on the motherboard. Now, on this particular drive, if we look, we can see there's a little diagram for it to look at, and we can see here that we've got what we call a key, which is a single on its own. If I just put my finger in, you hopefully can see what I'm talking about. Just here you can see that there's the positioning for the master position on the jumper selector, and right next to that is a little key, so you can identify when you look at the actual pin structure on the jumpers which way around the actual plastic jumper should fit on the actual pins. And you can see if we move along, we've got the same for the slave, master slave configuration, and we also have one for cable selects, which would enable this hard drive to determine, or the motherboard to determine exactly where this hard drive lived within the cable, whether it was in the master position or the slave position. And we've also got one here to say that this is a slave and it's present. Okay, as you can see that we have the hard drive seated into the case, and we have applied the power supply cable here, which goes straight in. It can only go one way around. Usually the yellow wires face outwards this way. We also can see that we've got the IDE cable now connected to that 40-pin connector on the hard drive, and we'll look at in a minute just how that actually fits into the motherboard. We've also set the jumper which sits in between the power cable and the IDE connector, and because this hard drive has got the operating system on, we've set it as a master, and that will have to go into the primary channel of the motherboard for the IDE slot. So on this particular board it would be the IDE 1 slot, which would represent the primary channel. Okay, so now we're going to look at how we're going to connect the hard drive to the motherboard. And if we look at the motherboard, we've got a couple of 40-pin connectors here, and this is the IDE 1 and IDE 2. IDE 1 known as primary, and the IDE 2 channel is known as the secondary channel. Just something to bear in mind, some of the manufacturers of motherboards might label them as a 0 and a 1, but usually the lowest number would indicate the primary channel, and the higher number being the secondary channel. So just bear that in mind with different manufacturers of motherboards. But as we can see, we've got a blue one on this one, and this denotes that this is the actual the primary channel, or the IDE 1 channel, which is where we need to install the hard drive that has the operating system. If we take the cable now, we can see we've got this this red line that travels down one side of this cable, and on the actual hard drive, that red line would be next to the power cable. So it'd be a nice indication, or easy way to remember, is if you can get the red line next to the power cable going into the hard drive, then you know that you've got it the right way around. Okay, now that we've determined which IDE slot we're going to use, we need to just decide which way around the cable is going to go into the IDE slot on the motherboard. Now, if we look at the cable, we can see we've got this red line that travels down the IDE cable, and that denotes what we call pin 1. And we need to identify where pin 1 is located on the motherboard. Now, usually we have on the IDE slots we have a little sort of locator recess here, which enables us just to turn the cable around. I don't know if you can see on this cable here, but we've got like a little plastic locating strip here, so the cable can actually only go one way around into that slot. But if you're unfortunate, you can actually get a cable like this that has no locator piece of plastic on there, so it makes it a bit more difficult to know which way around to position that cable, because it will fit in either way. If you look very closely at the motherboard, you should be able to identify where it says pin number 1, or at the other end of the cable, pin 40. And if you look very closely on here, I can see, you probably won't be able to, but I can see that it has to go this way around on the pin 1 configuration. So I'm just going to ease the connector in, and you can see that it's now firmly seated into the primary channel. Okay, as you can see now, we've got the hard drive installed into the case with the power cable connected, and also we have the IDE cable connected, pin 1 next to the power line, and when we follow the cable it goes straight into our primary channel on the motherboard. Now on this particular motherboard, that's a 1, IDE slot 1, and we can see where we've identified pin 1, we have the red line connected on that side. Okay, that concludes the physical installation of the hard drive, and we'll be looking to see how to check the installation has been successful in the BIOS and also in the Windows operating system in later videos.